Hello members, how are you? Welcome to another members only vlog. Thanks for your continued membership. Here's a look at the old scores on the doors. 3 floors of ladies last night. Nana was here last night. I've just done a live stream and said Nana wasn't here. So here's the lineup yesterday. We had one girl busy, if you know what I mean, and 3 or 4 girls not turn up yesterday. So whereas I have been complaining a little bit uncharacteristically about not being so many girls, we're up there now. We've got 15. Yeah, Bradders, my good friend Bradders, a regular friend of the show, he does say, well, you know, I think 12 is a bit low, 15's good. As far as the amount of girls dancers in the bar, and I think he might have a point there. Bradders might have a point. Right, how's it been? Well, I was full of doom and gloom a couple of weeks ago when I last talked to you, because I thought that we may have a few problems because of the conflict that was going on in the world. I've been pleasantly surprised. We've held our own the last couple of weeks so far. It's the 10th of March now, and so for the last 10 days we've been okay. You know, we've had a kind of a good start to the month, really. Must not grumble whatsoever. Can I take this opportunity to thank everybody that has come into the bar? If you haven't, don't worry. If you can't make it, I understand. Don't worry. You know, you're busy people. But try and make it in next time. I'll mark you down on the register. Red pen. But no, seriously, don't worry about it. So, as far as is the bar busy, what's it like? I think town is definitely quiet. But as far as things go with the bar's good. You know, as you know, what I would expect for March. Obviously, this is my first March here in Rum Runner because we opened in May. Can you believe a month like I bought Rum Runner on the 29th of March, which was my birthday, and so we're here. Like a year has gone by. Wow, unbelievable. Today I wanted to talk to you about a subject that I haven't really given much thought to previously to pressing record. So what I'm going to be telling you is just riffed. Excuse me while I open the door. And that is smoking. Have a look outside. Look at the lovely soy cow. You know I love this soy. You know it, you love it. Not too hot. Not too hot outside. The heat has gone down a bit. So smoking. Why do we have a no smoking rule policy in the bar? Is it a good thing? Discuss. I know there are going to be some people that have very, very strong views about this, because people who smoke have very strong views about the fact that they want to smoke. And the thing that I hear a lot about, and this is correct, is that we come to Thailand because we don't want to be told what to do. We don't like regulation and red tape in our own countries. That's why we come on holiday to Thailand. We want to relax. And I couldn't agree more. However, I do not demonise smokers in any way. If you have if you want to smoke, good for you. But I think if you were to take a poll of 100 people in probably any country, developed country in the world, I would say probably 67% of the people would say that they would rather walk into a non-smoking venue than a smoking venue. Now that doesn't demonise the 30% that are either they don't smoke but they don't care, and those smokers, right? But it is quite a significant number. Somebody said to me the other day, oh, it must be terrible, you having to go to work every day. You go to work every day? I said, yeah, you know, even on my day off, I kind of go to work unless I'm physically not here, but I come to work every day. And he said, it's terrible, you know, it's like being in a prison. And I said, well, yes, it is like being in a prison, but I get to design my own cell. And what I mean by that is, I have made the bar to be something, a place that I like to go in. It's almost like my living room, if you like. And every day I open the door and invite you into my room. And so I don't smoke in my own room, and so, you know, it's kind of one of those things that I don't allow smoking inside the bar. It started because during COVID I turned Le Pub into a restaurant, and because we couldn't open as a bar, and so I didn't think it was right for people to be eating and people to be smoking, so I stopped the smoking in Le Pub at that time. Actually, it might have been earlier than COVID, but anyway, we didn't allow smoking in Le Pub, and I have to say, generally it was very well received. There are always one or two vocal people that feel very, very strongly and, you know, make a big show and a big deal. Well, Phil, we used to come to your bar, but we don't anymore because I can't smoke inside. Never mind. You know, there's an old saying in there, you can't please all the people all the time. But I definitely think there is that 70%, I would say, possibly even more, of people that would much rather be sitting in a non-smoking environment, especially when they're eating and they're ordering food. That carried over into Rum Runner because it's, as you can see, an enclosed environment, and so the smoke wouldn't be able to go anywhere. And whilst I'd say the vast majority of bars do allow smoking in their venues, I don't, and I think the reason for that is it's just, I don't want to criticise other bars, right? But I just think they're scared to say no to people. Right? They I don't know if they're desperate for everybody's money, or they've got a regular guy who comes in and spends good money, and he then turns around and says, well, if you didn't allow me to smoke, I wouldn't come in here, or I don't go to Rum Runner because they don't allow me to smoke inside. And they're like, oh, well, we better not ban smoking. Well, you know, that's a bit of a short-sighted way of doing business. I think you have to do things about how you feel physically about, you know, it's about the personality of the owner in a small business like Rum Runner. And just so happens that the personality of the owner is, again, without demonising smokers, I don't want smoking in the bar. But I think the Thai people as well, they just are not, they just have so many problems in saying no to people. No, you can't do this. And like I said previously in this video, people come over here because they feel that, you know, they're constrained when they, in their whole lives in the West, and they come over here and they feel like they're more free. But at the same time, I do think Thai people need to sort of stick up for themselves sometimes and say, well, actually, no, you can't do that in here. Actually, no, you're too drunk, we're not going to serve you anymore. That's another thing that Thais, they just cannot say enough to a customer who is clearly drunk and is clearly like pissing every other customer off in their venue. They're not able to have the backbone to say, oh no, because he's kind of losing face. I don't know, I suppose so. I try desperately to understand the concept of face, but I don't get it. So in that environment, the fact that I say that my venue is an unsmoking venue inside cuts deep with some people, and they simply will refuse. I remember one guy spent the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of our conversation talking about the good old days. He used to be a customer at a bar that I used to manage, and he says, "Oh, you even remember my drink? Wow, that's great. They're great, the good old days and all that." And then he said, I'll never forget, he said, "Do me a favour, tell one of the service girls to get me an ashtray, will you?" And I says, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't smoke in the venue." And that was it. He just said, "Oh, fuck you, I'm going somewhere else." Well, hold on a minute. What about reminiscing for 20 minutes about the good old days and how much you enjoy, just... Some people are just so bombastic about that. And like I say, it takes all sorts to make this world. Financially, I don't know if I don't know whether it's a financial benefit to not allow smoking in the bar. I'm on the. I really wouldn't like to say. I'll say this. I think it's a positive for the girls, for recruiting girls. Like I've just shown, we got 15 girls come in last night. We've maybe got 22, 23 girls if they all came in on the same day. The little princesses. Out of those, 2 of them smoke. 2 of them. Everybody else doesn't smoke. And I think for them to work in a non-smoking environment is a huge positive, and it might even be something that sways them in favour of coming to work in your bar. I've told you before, when I worked at... 2 things were the number... I tried to find out from girls why they left working in... these are like, if you like, farm fresh girls, girls that just come in for the first time. And the 2 things they said, these are girls that have never worked bar or go-go before. Number 1 was the shoes. They couldn't deal with the high heels, and because they're farm girls, they're not used to wearing high heels. Their feet hurt, and so they just had to stop work. They couldn't carry on because the high heels. And number 2 was the smoke. They say that they couldn't deal with the smoky environment working in there, and they just had to leave for their health reasons. So there may be indirect financial positives for having a non-smoking venue. Of course, the people that will not come to your bar because it's no smoking inside will, you'll lose their custom. But of course, you've got, on the other hand, the people that actually like the fact that you don't have smoking inside. And my whole feeling on the matter is, it's 2026. Yes, we come to Thailand because we don't like to be told what to do. Right? There is too much red tape and authoritarianism in the West. But it's 2026, and I think it's about time that we woke up to the fact that the vast majority of my customers don't smoke, and the vast majority of my staff don't smoke. And so to respect both of those people, I think in 2026 having a non-smoking venue is the way forward for me. I know a lot of you will have a lot of feelings about that, strong feelings, right? I'm quite happy. Put it in the comments down below. I'm quite happy for you to talk to me about that. And like I say, I'm not one of these people that goes, I said, "Oh, it's dirty, disgusting habit." Right? I don't feel bad about people that smoke. I do actually ask some people that smoke, would you, if in an ideal world, would you give up smoking? Actually, I'm really surprised. Most of them say no. They just want to smoke, right? And they're probably the most put upon people in the whole world. So I have sympathy for them. I have, nasty habits as well. Maybe that's another video. But, yeah. So the takeaway from this is 2026. Vast majority of my staff, vast majority of my customers don't smoke. It's a non-smoking venue. Thoughts and comments down below, please. Thank you for watching. Your membership is always appreciated, and whether you're a smoker or not, I'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.